Welcome to VW Warwick 2012, a series that was created to emulate the popular sport that occurs in America and Europe. Australia up until now has not had their own series, so for VW drag racers in Australia this has been a bonus for them. The series has been running 7 years and it has incorporated both Warwick, where we are here today, Portland in Victoria, and now, as of 2012, Sydney, the quarter-mile track. The series caters for both the serious full-on drag car and the novice, and that's the beauty of it. You can come along in your standard street Beetle or Combi. You can race that alongside the top contenders such as Rod Penrose, Chris Bolton, Mike Waldron, Dave Stoker, Mike Christen, Darren Hobson, Shane Hobson, the list goes on. We even have legends of the sport such as Peter Keegan, who are now making a reappearance after his successful career in drag racing back in the 70s. We welcome everyone, and the series, as you can see, is growing more by the day. It's very popular, but it incorporates not just drag racing, but also a social family atmosphere where you can actually sit down and enjoy 3-4 days of Volkswagen people, the community, the scene, and of course what we all come for is the drag racing. The style of racing is dial your own bracket racing, which means basically you can come in and if your car runs a 14-second against a 6-second car, this is the 8th mile, there's every chance you can still win if you are consistent with your reaction times, with the way in which you approach your racing. And we have had in the past several winners winning with 1600cc Volkswagen Beetles against top performance vehicles. Not to say that top performance vehicles weren't the best on the day, no, it just meant that consistency allows everybody in the sport a chance to enjoy. Dangerous? All motorsport is dangerous, but drag racing, the way that we conduct it in the series, has a high level of safety. The Warwick crew here is a typical example of how careful they are in scrutineering to make sure that the cars they put out on the track have the best possible chance, if there is a problem, of allowing the driver to step out and walk away. So come along, if you haven't thought about drag racing and you've been a spectator or this is your first time you've ever heard about it, trust me, once you put that helmet on, there's no looking back.
To the light, rays of Sunday shelter in real life. Where's the view? One thing and grey and cold, far behind, it's far behind. Oh, sentimental is the mental, flirting with so many other mental. As long as you never touch my body, never get to party, am I protector? Oh shit, better you know better, better just to let him get her. Get me, let him only get me. Who's got the right to decide I get protection on my body? I give it to my lover, and know that I recover. I'm left with a chain of the keychain of lover. I give it to my lover, and know that I recover. I'm left with a chain lost it, I was right there. Introduce yourself to the light. Race of sound, they shatter in real life. Race of you, a pain, a great and call far behind, it's far behind.
So, Mr. Dave Butler.
Hi Steve, how you going?
I'm very, very well, mate. How are you going?
Good, thanks mate, good.
So, you've just obviously come back from a run?
Yes, we've just had another run and I won the round. It wasn't a perfect run, but a win's a win.
That's good. It's racing's racing, that's
Yep.
it. Anything you can take. Now, what have you been doing with the car here today, mate? You seem to have been playing around a little bit.
Okay, not too much to do, but after each run I just fuel up, check the tyre pressures and then head over and adjust the wheelie bar height.
Okay.
We've had to play a little bit this weekend due to the track conditions. Warwick's our favourite track, but sometimes with the weather that comes in, we have to work a bit to get some traction. But
Sure.
This morning the track's fantastic. So
Especially yesterday afternoon's weather.
that's right. Yep.
So, can you just talk us through a little bit about the engine, and for those that don't know the car?
Okay,
Obviously, a
yep.
lot of people do, but just
Yeah,
what
the
sort of things you
engine's
got?
2700 cc's. It's based on a Type 1 engine, but virtually every component is aftermarket. So the block is a powder block, which is actually over 10 years old. And
A powder block.
Powder is the brand,
Oh,
yeah.
Powder.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Powder makes aftermarket engines. This particular casting, you can build an engine as big as 3.5 litre.
Oh, wow.
My engine is only 2.7 litre, but the heads are component development heads out of the States that I ported myself. The latest development with the engine has been valve train. I made a camshaft and have been developing the valve train so that it has 800 thou lift and 1,000 pounds of spring pressure. And it looks like now I've got the reliability sorted with that, and
Okay.
it's paying off with horsepower.
So for a while there, I mean, you're running a supercharger for a while.
Yeah, for many years I ran a supercharger, and this particular car went as quick as 9.7, and it ran a 6.1 here at Warwick.
So 9.7 over the quarter mile.
That's right, yeah, and
And,
6.1 at 117 miles an hour here at Warwick.
Wow. So what was the deciding factor that made you sort of go, well, I'm going to ditch the blower and we'll go NA?
Well, I built another car that was a bit lighter and had a big crash, and
Which is the one that Troy's ended up with.
that's right, and Troy's now rebuilding that car.
With boost.
And-
Threw a big turbo on it.
Yeah, and it's got a big turbo, and it should go quite well. I ran 9s in that car as well at 147 and 6.1s here at Warwick. But after the crash I had to think about what I was doing, and this new class came up, all motor, and I decided to head in that path, and I enjoy the development just as much.
Okay.
And the speed too is still good. This car's still quite fast. It's run a 10.70
Right.
at 126 miles an hour, so
Not a slouch.
it's no slouch.
No,
Yeah. It
no.
makes about 290 horsepower the engine, about 250 at the wheels.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah.
So when at least you know someone that can build really good gearboxes.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's my bread and butter is gearbox work. So
Yep.
and surprisingly, racing the car is my only advertising.
Right.
Word of mouth and the car brings me all the work I need. So this particular gearbox is based on an 1800 combi box. Has all Albin's gears, which are made here in Australia,
Yep.
and completely trouble free. So yeah, it's a good combination.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, for many years you sort of almost pioneered in Queensland, certainly at Willowbank, the fast V-dubs that were just, I mean, this thing was an animal at one stage with the blower. I remember it camming over and it was just, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I started racing with this car in 1991, so it's over 20 years I've had the car.
Wow,
And,
are you that old?
That's right. Yeah, I'm only 30. But yeah, so I've been racing the car for a long time, and it's got many runs on it. But yeah, it was good fun with the supercharged stuff. I started with what was a 1776 with just the blower on it. It had 28 pounds of boost, and it ran as quick as a 1065.
Yep, excellent.
And then worked my way up to the big engine, which was, in the end, it was nearly 3 litre. It was 2965 with
Wow.
42 pounds of boost and 10-to-1 compression, and that was the issue with the crash. It turned the tyres as I went through the finish and just went left into the wall. So I went backwards through the finish line at 134 miles an hour. But due to the safety that Andrew's got, I walked away from it.
just quickly tell us what are your duties as far as helping out running the track?
Well,
what do you do?
My duties is to help make sure everybody's doing the right thing, and also I help out here on the track, help getting the cars organised. I put the cars into their linesmen. The linesmen then sends them up to the guys in the middle, and there's a guy up there that gets them to do their burnout, and then it goes on further to the lights where they set them up at the lights themselves, and then they take over from there, and then they send them down the track.
So you basically just get them all organised and keep everything flowing.
Yeah, I try to keep this end. I try to keep this end down here flowing, and then it comes up the middle, and they try to keep it flowing up there. But sometimes things happen, and you just can't help that.
So that some of these VW guys, you have to slap them around a bit and just pull them in a line, or what's the go?
No, they're all right. They're a good bunch of people. In all sports, you get the odd one that gets a bit cranky, but you just calm them down, and they're pretty good people. Really good people.
That's good. All right, well, we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for having a chat. We might see you out there. So what colour is it?
It's green. Look, so many people have asked me that colour. It's actually Mazda colour called Royal Jade. Yeah, it's a lot of people have asked me what colour it is so they can use it on their car, so I've been very reluctant to actually mention what it is. But this car's been on the road now for about 12 years. Originally I built it with a decent engine in it, and I built it as just a decent street car, and it's just progressed into not so much street anymore but more strip, and it's still going in that direction. The plan from here is to build a new chassis for it and some better roll cage system through it, and then I'll make the decision whether it actually comes off the road totally or I try and keep it on the street. But the more and more I want it to be produce the numbers on the strip, the less streetable it becomes. So
yeah, I mean, it does look just like a normal street car. It doesn't look rad at all.
That's exactly. Look, it's a really nice, I believe it's a really nice tidy car. It's got a nice lowered stance to it, mostly de-chromed, and this is the way I originally wanted to build the car, and it's exactly what I wanted. I did all the paint finish on it, had some help with upholstery over the years. Another good friend of mine, Mike Waldron, did a lot of work with helping me with ideas and putting things together. And this is what I've got now. And the car's been on the road for a while, finished. It took me 8 years to build it. And it's not a show car. I didn't want a show car. It's nice to have won a few trophies at all Volkswagen car shows, but at the end of the day, I just wanted a really nice, respectable street car.
Yeah, I mean, it's just clean, it's simple, it's not overdone.
Yep.
There's nothing sort of...
Nothing too leery on it, nothing too loud.
Yeah.
No, and that speaks for itself, I think.
Yeah, excellent. So, g'day Russell, we're obviously up here at Warwick drag strip, and you guys have taken the trouble to come up from Sydney Tell us a little bit about your car.
Well, originally this used to be one of Mike's drag cars, and we rebuilt it. We're running a 2387 fuel injection EFI with a Haltech Sports 1000 computer.
Fantastic. And I've got to ask you, when I saw you running out there, there's these two flaps on the back of the car. Now, I'm looking at your engine, I can't work out why. The only thing I can think of is to let air out.
Originally we were going to run the exhaust through the centre hole on the backboard, but we ran out of time before February, so we got one of these out of the States, and we haven't got around to rebuilding it and putting a new exhaust on it. It works fine with this one, so we may leave it.
Okay, no worries. So I can see a lot of HPC coating, a little bit of chrome under there, big dollar engine.
Yeah, big dollar engine. Can't say too much. The wife's here. But no, I've got a motto that if you want to spend a little bit, then you'll get a little bit. If you want to do it properly, spend that extra dollars and you'll end up with a good engine.
And how you been running out there today?
Oh, the first run I did good, did an 857. The second run I bogged down at the didn't have enough revs up. I'm still getting used to being in the car, and yeah, but enjoying it. You know, this is I've got V-dubs. I've had V-dubs, and I've still got a 56 one at home, and this is a 54 body. And of course, like, I'm pretty well sponsored, as you can see, with Truck Parts Australia, CBB Racing, which is Mike Christian, Letter Art, Stanhope Anglican Church, and 103.2 FM, the Christian station.
Okay, so here we are. We found Mr. Combi. What's your name?
Jamie Haig.
Jamie. Well, tell me about this machine. Look, I don't know a lot about combis, I've got to say, especially not the later model ones. And even though this isn't really that late, but yeah, fill me in, please.
All right, it's a 1990 model T3 transporter, 2.1 fuel injected automatic. That's pretty much about it. Nothing's been modified to it. It's just stock as a
standard engine, standard everything.
Right. Yeah, just rebuilt the engine and then done nothing else to it but lowered and some wheels. But yeah, just here to chase consistent times.
Okay, so just have some fun.
Yeah, that's all it's about.
I mean,
mate.
Consistency is all about, you know, that's what winning drag racing is.
That's it.
Everything is consistency. So it doesn't really matter how much horsepower you've got.
No,
if you can get out there, run the same time every time.
Yeah. When you start getting into the bigger horsepower, things are too temperamental. You know, you jump too quick, or you know, you take off too slow.
Hard to control.
Whereas these things, you know, I'm only doing it for the numbers. I'm not chasing it for speed because I know I don't have it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's been really consistent, being an automatic, so it shifts the same every time. So
excellent.
You can't, you know, the only thing you can do wrong is read the lights wrong. That's about it.
Right. Okay. Ah, is there really, Buzz? How many beers have you had? Don't go ass over, you end up in his carbies. Oh, he doesn't have any. Right, so we're here with Aaron, the owner of this gorgeous little flat black combi.
That's right.
Now, I believe you have a 13B rotary, is that correct?
A 20B.
A 20B, you pig! And big hairdryer on the side.
Yeah, it's a GD47, running 18 pounds of boost.
GD47?
Yeah, 47.
That's a huge turbo.
It's equivalent to a turbo off a 14 litre truck.
Okay, and intercooled?
Yeah, barrel cooler with ice running through it.
Okay.
Which keeps the air temps at 0 degrees on the start line, and at the end of the track it's about 15 degrees.
Right.
Consistently.
So I saw you out there before and it looked like you were lifting the front wheels in the air, no trouble at all.
Yeah, easy.
What sort of horsepower are you?
I did a little bit more tuning today and I felt it was a lot faster than what it's ever been. I think it's around the 750 plus horsepower at the tyres.
Wow, wow. That is insane. So how much does a combi weigh?
It weighs 1,650 kilos now with me in it. And a standard combi would weigh about 1,400.
Oh my God.
It's because the engine's a lot heavier. It's got a heavier gearbox. It's a 4-6-speed four-wheel drive gearbox in it, but I'm only running 2-wheel drive out of it. And it's got a triple plate clutch, Tilton 7¼ inch clutch there.
So how's the feel of that? Like, is that easy to control? Or is it just come on really snappy?
No, it doesn't come on very snappy. It's nice and easy to control. Very streetable. I drove it all the way from Brisbane. 3-hour drive up here, not a hassle.
So is there a big lag with a rotary and a big turbo? Like, you really got to get the revs up to get off the line. What's the story?
It starts making boosts at about 2,600 RPM, which is quite low. And my limiter is set at 10,030 RPM.
Oh, that's
so we hear it just go pop, pop, pop. That's hitting the limiter, which is usually just through the skid, and I try not to do that on the line or down the
So
strip.
you're just running pump fuel in it, or
I'm running E85
okay.
from the Bowser.
Right.
So it's come in. It's actually from Warwick here, local fuel. So it's at 88% ethanol.
Yep.
And I'm just running some premix oil in there with it.
Oh, okay. So that just lubricates the seals and...
That's right, yeah.
Obviously the Wankel engines like to...
They like to have lubricant for the seals, yeah.
Little smoke strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. So how long has this configuration been running? I mean, obviously you've had a rotary in this thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Is this the original engine that you've had?
No, this is the second engine. The first one was a 13B, 13B turbo, and I upgraded that for about 6 times with different turbos, different intercooler systems. Went 20B in 2005, and it's been 20B ever since. But this is the latest setup, running a mechanical fuel pump. It's a 2,800 horsepower fuel pump.
Wow.
Mechanical, runs off a belt with the Microtech ECU still, and I'm running data logging in the Microtech, and I've also got an Innovate Motorsport data logger, which data logs air fuel ratio, exhaust gas temperatures in each cylinder, boost pressures, and everything else that you can think of.
So you tune it yourself at the track? You're doing it all by yourself?
I did put it on a dyno last week, and I blew a tyre up on the dyno, so that sort of ended it prematurely. But it's proven no hassles to tune at the track. Overlaying maps with the computer, it's easy to use and easy to adjust.
Yeah. No, I don't mind the Microtech. I mean, they're basic, simple.
Yeah.
People hate them, but
yeah, they're basic.
They work.
They're crude. They're basic. Rotors don't mind to run on them.
Yeah.
The Innovate data logging system that I'm using on it, it's really, really good. And that's what I actually get all my data from to put into the Microtech. So that's how I run it.
Yeah. So with your runs out here that you had today, did you make any changes? Like, you feel it was going strong, going hard? Like,
I made a change after the first run. I just took a little bit of fuel out. It was around the 10:8 air fuel ratio, and that was around about 700 on the dyno. And then I went a bit leaner again, and it didn't mind going a bit leaner again. So each run I actually took some fuel out of it, and now it's at about 12.6 air fuel mixtures. Exhaust gas temperatures are about 1,063. It was the highest one of them went to.
Yeah.
That's peak, yeah. And usually cruising around will be about the 600 degrees Celsius coming out of a rotary.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, it's picked up a lot of power, but I still haven't touched the timing yet. So I can put some timing in.
What gear and sort of RPMs are you crossing the line over, obviously, the 8th mile here?
In the 8th mile, this gearbox it's a Porsche gearbox, so it's not really set up for 8th mile. Third gear, I'm in going over the line, and it's about 5,600 RPM in third. So it's really not on song in third, so it needs longer legs. To,
yeah.
You know.
So really it's all first, second gear.
That's pretty much it. And a lot of the time out here, with that kind of, around the 750 horsepower on the line, it's hard to get the happy medium of take off without, bogging on the line or wheel spinning out of first.
So combi, is a big wind resistance being sort of a
it's
esky?
huge. Yeah.
That's got to be something you're battling all the time.
I don't notice it. I drive it daily, so I don't notice it as much as what other people probably would. And the power and the torque of the engine, the 20Bs have a 50% more torque than the 13B to start with, and once you've got boost on there, there's nothing holding it back. So it seems the motor, it's been running like that since 2006, since I Bridgeported it, and it's been running on song all the time. Never had it break, so it's good.
So you must scare a few people on the street.
I'm pretty tame on the street. I just leave it all for the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Like
I need my license.
Yeah.
I'm a career driver.
Yeah,
so I need my license.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
No, well, so is there any chance you might be giving it a paint job, or are you going to stick with the flat black? Sort of a bit of a signature for you now, isn't it?
It is, yes. I'm in the process of building a new car. So when that car's built, this car will get prettied up and get a nice paint job and be put back on the street as a tow car. So this will be my tow car. I'll have a 13B and a Type 3 Volkswagen. That's just a sedan. And that'll be more of a fun car to play around, a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to leave this engine in here to be a tow car?
No, everything else bar the block. I'm just going to build another engine without a Bridgeport, so it's not as loud. Okay. It'll still make 600 odd horsepower on the street, but really quiet.
Right.
And torquey down low. I'll change the clutch so it's more usable.
And that'll be your tow car?
Yep.
600 horsepower?
Yeah, why not?
Especially get to the meat fast, I suppose. Be interesting.
Bring your home, take a don't.
WD-40 again. Oh, we've been working there hard to. All right. Here we go, guys. Oh, I knew this was going to happen. Oh, and well done.
This is it. This is VW Tappet Cover Racing 2012. This is the final. It's all come down to this. 2 races from 23 starters. Darren number 2 and Jennifer. Darren number 2!
Let's just... So here we are up at Warwick Drag Strip.
Buggy Central. Buggy Compound.
And who do we have here tonight with a beautiful little, what's it got, a little puppy dog on your head or something like that?
Possum, mate, possum. But no, John Hatt. John Hatt. Yeah, part of the BBA crew. So we're here for a bit of fun racing and, yeah, try and burn some rubber and set down some good times.
Okay, so you got your car over there under the cover?
Yeah, this one here. Yeah, it's Max FX long wheelbase buggy. It's got a 2180 fuel injected motor, and yeah, looking to run some good times tomorrow.
So can we go take a little look, a little sneak preview?
Oh, she's yeah, a bit covered. We went on the wine tour today, so that was good. So it's a versatile car. You can run it on drag strip and go for a wine tour during the day, and all sorts.
So street registered?
Yep, totally street registered, and yeah, take it shopping on a Saturday, go and get the groceries, and Sunday we're on the beach, you know, tearing up the sand on the beach, and now at the drag strip, so there are not many cars that can do that.
Oh, good stuff. Let's go have a look, eh?
The boys have chutes, I have a car cover. I can't afford to throw off a parachute, so I just use a car cover. And the Stinger's made out of a bit of scaffold tubing.
So how long have you owned this little beastie for?
I built this one up in 2003. It's got just over 60,000 Ks on the clock now. Yeah, numerous beach trips. Been running at Sydney drags, out here at Warwick on the drags. Daily driver, floating around, taking the back seat out. It was registered as a 4-seater. I've now taken the back seat out, so I use it as a company ute. Okay. Yep, just a good fun all-round car.
So you built this from the ground up yourself, or?
Yeah, myself and a couple of other guys started Beach Buggy Australia off in 2000. We were looking for a long wheelbase buggy. We liked the look of the Manx buggies, the original Manx, and so we designed this one. Just widened the guard slightly and made a few modifications, stretched it out, and it's 12% longer, so we made it 12% wider. And we started that company off, and it got bought out by some friends of ours, Kurt and Gunter, so they're now owning Beach Buggy Australia, so sort of still in the close by.
So you took the original Manx mould and then actually modified it, is that right? Is that what it...
We actually got a copy of a Manx, which was a mould of a mould of a mould, and it was, you know, it'd never been built as a car. And we calculate that we're making it 12% longer over its overall body length, so we widened the car by 12%. So the guard widths at the rear and at the front, we just stretched the car out and blended it in. When it was a long wheelbase, we found there were some torsional issues with the vehicle, so we ended up putting foam cells down either side to pull the rigidity back into the body, and designed a roll cage. This particular roll cage is designed as the 4-seater for rental fleet, you know, for easy access into the rear of the car. So, but yeah, and like I say, this is a 2003, and still going strong.
Well, thanks.
Here or whatever is out my tea.
Tea? You're drinking tea?
Cup of tea, mate. English. Always drink tea.
Right.
Cup of tea
with Scotch.
Scotch chaser. Yeah. Cheers.
All right. Good on you. Thanks
Beautiful.
for talking with us.
No worries.
Cheers.
We spent until 2 o'clock each morning the past 4 nights.
Right.
Getting it ready and that sort of thing.
Looks the part. So obviously pretty big Demon carby, supercharger.
Yes.
It's a combi block, is it, or what's this?
No, it's a Type 1.
Okay.
Yeah, Type 1 case.
So not very often you see, most of the guys obviously running turbos these days, not very often to see a that style of supercharger.
There's a few, but Ben likes the sound of it. This is Ben's car. So
yeah.
He likes the sound of the supercharger. He had an older one on there, and it just didn't hold boost long enough.
Right, okay.
So he's upgraded to a new one that produces the boost no problem.
So what boost are they running?
This one peaked at 20 on the dyno.
Okay.
And will produce more than that, but at this stage, we're still in the developing stages.
Yep.
So
I guess you got to get...
Until it's sorted, we'll basically just run it as it is. 20% overdriven and
yeah. Well, I suppose no point in having more horsepower if you're not getting it to the track anyway. So
we've pretty much got to figure out, okay, let's get it to the track, get it to the end, get it there quick, and then get in there quicker.
So you guys from Grizzy or Warwick?
No, we're actually from Unanderra. Wayne Penrose's workshop is down at Unanderra in New South Wales.
Okay.
Wollongong.
There we go.
And we do the trip up here every year.
Nice.
This is one
So
event we don't miss.
So you bought the rain?
Yeah, pretty much. Must have. It wasn't raining while we were down home though. So.
No, it's great. There's heaps of guys come up from down south. It's good to see.
Well, we got more numbers this year than last year, and last year we had 76. I think we're in the 80s this year.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check.
We
with Craig.
did an event at Eastern Creek, and we got 94, and that was for a full quarter mile, and that was all V-dubs as well. That was the beginning
Fantastic.
of this year.
So what do you run on the quarter with this?
He ran a 10.7 with the old blower.
Right.
So we don't know yet.
Mile an hour? Or mile an hour?
Mile an hour, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
What mile an hour did you run, Ben? With the old blower on the quarter.
120. Okay, that's
122. 122. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and that was with the old blower, which
Okay.
we estimate was only putting out about 5 pound boost.
So 60 foot times, you know what they are?
60 foot, no.
No. So obviously 122, 60 foot times must be pretty good.
Yeah,
Must get out of the hole.
I imagine they would be
pretty well.
So, yeah, I mean he's got 1500 of torque,
Right.
and that will go up once it goes back on the dyno.
Yeah.
It's got around about the 300 horsepower at the wheels.
Nice.
Again, that'll go up once it goes back on the dyno.
Yeah.
But it's in the development stages.
So do you guys run your own? You have an in-house dyno, or do you get it tuned elsewhere?
Wayne's got a friend that we go over to dyno.
Okay.
South Coast Rotaries. And he does the dyno. Wayne does all the mechanical work and that sort of thing.
Right.
So, no, Wayne is just brilliant with these things.
So he's chief builder, designer, tuner, everything.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Yep. He's got his oval, which is the fastest one in Australia, street registered.
Okay. Is that up here today? Or?
No, it's not up here. He couldn't quite get it ready, so he basically put more time into trying to get Ben up here and get Ben running.
Right.
So the oval stayed at home, and he's run a 10.13, I think it was, on the quarter with a street registerable oval beetle.
Wow. That's running street tyres as well? Like
that's running slicks.
Slicks, okay. Yeah.
But they're a M&H semi-slick. So they're technically street legal, but yeah, they're a semi-slick.
So they are DOT approved, or they're not?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's street legal then.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe they're DOT.
So street car.
But he's had the record a couple of times.
Right. For street-driven.
For street-driven registered. So yeah.
And pump fuel again, like you're running.
They're not anymore, but yes, at the time, yes. Now it's more a case of he's trying to develop it to get not so much the street registerable, but just to see what he can get out of a car in full street trim.
Okay, so it's still got all the interior, everything in there.
Still got headlinings, still got carpet, still got Venetian blinds on the back window.
Good.
You know, it's got the lot.
Yeah.
So, he's basically just taken out. It's got a cage in it. It's tech inspected. He's just taken out the passenger seat and the driver's seat and put a race seat in. And that's for safety and also to meet the ANDRAS specs. But that one's really quick. Then he's myself and under Wayne's guidance built another car for myself. I've run 6.5 today.
Oh right, okay. Where's your car?
It's going well. It's over in this marquee just here. We've got all our cars here.
Yep.
It's the grey one. And
So
then
did you get out to have a run today?
I had 3 runs today. Started off at 6.9, and by the time we'd sort of feel comfortable, I ran a 6.5 on the last one. So
excellent.
That was just before the rain. So it's got a little bit more in it, but 6.5 is around about it.
So what motor are you running in yours? What configuration?
I got a Type 1 turbo. Draw through turbo.
Okay.
2385. It's a basic street type motor.
Okay.
It could quite literally go into a street car.
Yep.
It's not a massively high compression, but it's comfortable. The car's built for the
Safe.
drag car, can't drive on the track, on the road. So, but yeah, all the cars are basically developed to go quick, rather than dump a heap of horsepower in it and
blow up.
Then try and get it going.
Yeah, yeah. So try and get some consistency, reliability.
That's it. Yeah, with mine it was basically build the car and put a motor in.
Yeah.
Not build a massive motor and build a car to put it in.
Right, okay.
So we built the car to go straight, and it does that, and it's the same with Benz. Build the car, develop the car, get it to go straight, then increase the horsepower and go again.
Right. Okay.
And that's what this step is. So it's just constantly trying to get it to go quicker, but at the same time get it to do it safely.
Yeah.
And in a straight line.
Could you invite me to your underground? Take me to your inverted dome. Could you invite me to your underworld? Or let the spirits through the roam? Could you accept this flower offering? Provide me with a fruitful day. Can you accept this piglet offering? And keep the boundaries maintained. I know I'm not the only one asking you, babe.
I'm just glad to make it. I'm glad to make it through yesterday. You know what I mean? I wanted to do one pass without breaking anything. You know what I mean? Like, and I did 7. But I progressively went slower and slower and slower, and my reaction times got better and better and better. So I'm getting there, but the car's not. So.
Well, just keep it consistent.
Consistency slow.
Consistency.
Well, I've just taken some boost out of it too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully that might.
So you're going to go even slower.
Yep, that's my plan. Okay. So, but the idea is so I don't lean it out top end so much.
So do you want to just hook it up, a tow cable to this thing and just tow you down? Or?
No. What I'm going to do is just try and light them up. To try and get out of the hole. I want a better 60 foot. I can get some good 60 foot times, and then I'll know I'm on the right track, and I'll go from there. So.
On the right track, Warwick track.
On the right track, Warwick track.
So you reckon you're either going to go good, or you're going to definitely break something?
Hope to break something.
Hope to break something.
Yeah, if I break something, I don't want to break the engine. I don't want to break the gearbox.
Okay.
That means I'm driving it hard enough. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
Not a big drama.
So the ashtray could fall out or something like that. That'd be okay.
Yeah. Okay. If all the change came out, my cigarette butts came out on my lap.
You still got money.
I had the stereo going.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You got to travel with Doof.
Yeah. It's your old stereo system, isn't it?
Is it? But this is my. Okay, it's all second-hand parts. So what in this car?
Nothing but the best, mate.
No, that's good. Oh, well, we'll have to try and get some footage of you going down and breaking stuff.
Please do.
Yeah,
please do.
We'll try and do our best. All right, well, thanks, Ash. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, you will.
And
yes, we do.
Hopefully weather stays like this and we get some runs in.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, mate. This is awesome.
Champion. All right, Chief. Thank you.
Later, dude.
Please?
Stan Popjoy.
Stan Popjoy. Okay, just tell us a little bit about the car, please, Stan. It looks like you got a hefty little supercharger on the top there.
Well, it's actually built for hill climb, and that is what I use it for. You know, it's just that everyone asks, well, what would it do on a drag strip? Where I spent 20 years in drag racing. I thought, well, the only way to find out, this is the only place I can enter it because the roll bar doesn't conform with the end, 6-point roll cage.
Okay, yeah.
So it's got to be a special event. So I thought, Peter and I decided to bring it up. I live in Coffs Harbour, And because when it's at the hill climb at Mount Cotton, people just can't work out how does it go because it's got instant throttle from crack on, from coming around the stall. It's not just what it does down drag strip. But that just wheel spun most of first and second gear because I didn't know whether I could to do a burnout or not.
Okay, so do you know how much power it actually makes?
No. That's why I brought it here.
Enough?
The idea is, when I'm finished with it and know what it's flat out at, I know it weighs the same exactly as a Formula V. All right, this is 412 kilos, and I'll be able to calculate exactly by the speed it does in the eighth precisely what horsepower it's putting out once I'm finished getting it on the deck.
Okay.
But as they said, my mate John Eldrin, that said, you won't get it down, Stan. Yeah, well, I'm laughing because it just went first, second, and it didn't take off till I hit third, and then it, you know, shot me in the back.
So obviously traction is your biggest issue.
Well, not really, because see, there no rocks on the tyres when I came in. That's because I didn't do a burnout at all. I didn't want to break the gearbox or anything on the first run. I went around the water. Where normally after a hill climb run, when you go onto dirt, the rocks is there and they're stuck all over the back tyres. So you can see it didn't do it. So they're cold, if you like. So I'm very happy, very happy.
It looks very long. I'm surprised how actually long it was when we approached. Obviously, is there a reason for track work why they have that length?
94-inch wheelbase, the same as the Beetle, because I built it from the roll bar back. It used to be a Formula 2 with a Golf motor, with the twin Webbers. And the idea is for the hill climb, you've got to keep it stable, because if you've got that much power like it's got now, they just want to go around in circles if you have a shorter wheelbase like the old days.
And you also, looks like you've got a pretty trick suspension setup, like almost like a four-link type suspension, is that right?
Oh yeah, it's typical open wheeler suspension, but I've had to play with it for the last 4 years to get it to not wheel stand, right? It was a pig, you know, he couldn't turn. And I've finally got it. I'll be running it at Mount Cotton, the next event, a few weeks. Otherwise, we're going to try it now with the open pipe. It won't go any different, except that I'll do a burnout and take off properly instead of sitting there, but you'll hear it.
For grab number, he just goes 10:43 when he's 10:20. A race on a 39.
This is obviously a bit of a beastie, Volkswagen powered trike.
Yes, it is.
And twin hair dryers, I see, which is a little sneaky little thing to have on the sides.
Well, that's just to make it look, what do you call it?
Balanced.
That's correct, absolutely. And otherwise, you're probably better off one hair dryer.
Right, okay, so a bit of a plumbing nightmare?
Oh, definitely a plumbing nightmare. It's water to air intercooled with radiators underneath. It's got 5 oil coolers to try to keep the engine under control. And it's more designed to be going cruising, not drag racing.
Right, so what sort of boost are you pushing through it?
16 pounds on pump gas.
Nice.
No exotic fuels.
So what does one of these things weigh?
This one here weighs 550 kilos.
Wow. And what would you estimate the horsepower to be?
It's not estimated, it's definitely 270 horsepower at the rear wheels.
Okay, fantastic. So how have you been going out there? Obviously you've got a couple of dramas here. Looks like a broken exhaust mount or something.
Yeah, well that was broken before I came, but I've got problems that I can't keep it straight. So I'm trying to get the wheelie bars a bit lower so she doesn't wheel stand so high.
Okay, so you haven't broken anything, you're still in the running, you're
That's
just
correct.
tuning.
Trying to keep it straight because I'm putting on a show, but I want to go straight if I can.
We had a little bit of footage out there before, and it looked like you had the front wheel right in the air, like really high.
Yeah, very high. It's unduly, I think the track's got a little bit more traction than it normally has. Usually you spin the wheels a little bit harder, but I'm not spinning wheels so much. I'm coming up very easily, so she's a bit haywire. She's going towards the left-hand side. So it's all right if I'm in the, what do you call it, the left-hand track, but if I'm in the right-hand track, it's a little bit close to the wall.
Right, okay. No, I can see your point. So you still run a VW gearbox and everything?
Yeah, correct. It's a VW transaxle through VW CVs, but everything else is basically what I designed around it. I built the trike completely, yeah. I just wanted to prove a point that you can have pump gas, twin turbo engine on the street to go anywhere you like. So you can hop on this thing now, and if you want to go to Tasmania, just go for it. Without this, of course.
Okay, fantastic. And just so we all know, what was your name, please?
Leon.
Leon.
Vandertot. Oh. From Leon's Motors.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I know, you're going to screw it over. Thanks.
Now, what was your name, please?
My name's Matt Berry. I've been around Volksies for a while.
Are you from Queensland, Matt?
Yes, mate. Yeah, up Noosa way. So we've got the Sunshine Coast close by.
Ah, very close to the beach. That's nice.
That'd be right, mate. Hence the crazy bar harv.
I'm a bit surprised at your choice of tyres for drag racing. They look more suited for a tractor.
Hence, I think I'm trying a lower pressure, mate. It's the only way to try and get some grip, you know.
So, obviously no wheel stands if you're spinning the wheels?
This is true. I was going to try and do a few shows because it's a little bit of a grunter engine, but anyway, we'll see what happens, you know.
It's it almost looks like a Porsche fan on the top there.
That's right. Yeah, it's based on a 914 or a combi engine block in a way, but it's got bigger crank, bigger bore, bigger pistons. Gives it, in this case, 2980. So it's quite a big one. But
right.
You know.
So this street registered or not?
Yes, it is. Yes.
It's different, I'll give you that. Very, very different.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, well, you know, we don't like to mingle in with the masses too much.
So primarily, what do you use it for? Just to have a bit of fun, or do you go up?
Right. Yeah, this is always a work in progress. Okay. So, you know, up the beach generally.
Okay,
but,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's close by to us, 15 minutes on the sand, you know, so have a lot of fun.
Right, so you can just catch the $6 barge straight over and...
You've been there before, haven't you?
Oh, I have indeed, yes. It's a beautiful place.
It is, mate. Noosa North Shore, come see it.
No, definitely recommend if anybody hasn't been there before, it's a really, really top spot.
There you go.
Okay, so finally I've actually managed to catch up with the man in charge, Mr. Craig Hughes from VW Magazine Australia. Now, mate, fantastic event.
Thanks, Steve.
What a weekend we've had. It's been just a bit of a drama with the weather Saturday night, but look at it today. I mean, the racing's been fantastic, weather's been fantastic. You've got to be happy.
Drama with the weather. I always say if you've been to Portland, there's no drama with the weather. And Warwick always throws in a few little curly ones for us, but it's nothing that we've never managed to get around. We haven't as yet, and touch wood at some stage, had a program that's been interrupted by the weather. It's been slightly modified, mind you.
Sure.
And yesterday though, even with the rain, we still managed to do our 4 hours of qualifying, which is just a plus to this club because they've skipped their lunch break to make sure that we weren't missing out on half an hour of racing. So, and today, yeah, blue skies, great camaraderie amongst everybody, and some very close racing for 2012. I was impressed. I had the opportunity, thanks to my dear wife, who was able to attend the meet to help out this year for the whole 4 days, I could come down to the fence line and watch, and I was very impressed.
Did you get any racing in?
I did. I have a little 2010 Manx lookalike buggy. It's called the Grasshopper for very good reasons, and also because I have a very heavy right foot. I just love the wheel stands. It doesn't go all that fast when I do the wheel.
We all do, Craig, we all do.
My times aren't all that impressive when I do the wheel stands, but the joy of actually getting one of these little things just to fly into the air, and then to still do some, quick times. I mean, we did an 8-second with a wheel stand, and then Ashley, when he hopped in, he was doing a 780 by driving it properly and correctly, as it should be. So there's lots of potential.
Well, don't tell Ash that. You'll get a big head. So.
And so I was very fortunate to get some racing, as you said. Occasionally on many events I'm just too wrapped up in the proceedings to actually enjoy it.
I don't know how you do what you do, mate. I really don't.
Well, I have a very supportive family, so that helps. Yeah. And that gives me the opportunity to actually go play racing. So to them I owe the credit for the fact that I can don a race suit. And also to be able to share a ride with Ashley, or last year I shared the ride with Jamie, is always a pleasure, because sometimes these guys don't have the opportunity to race, and I'm fortunate. I come across a couple of dray cars every now and then that I'm able to put into the garage. It's good to be able to share with those guys.
Excellent, excellent. So you've actually had a good time yourself, even though you got the stress and all the hassle of putting it all together. And
I was saying to Chris Loy, this is the first year that I've actually had time to walk around and talk to people, find out what's going on, and even to watch the finals. Well, you wouldn't know that with my goof up at trophy presentations, awarding air cool to the runner-up, but occasionally when you're reading those things, you just sometimes go into that neutral phase and you forget that I actually did see the final, and it wasn't.
And what about those tablet cover races? I mean, how many do we have?
This has been the most peculiar part of VW Warwick. You would think it was all about what we're standing on now, the 8th mile track, but for some strange reason the Tapper Cover Racing has a following all of its own. 23 races last night, and you would, to the outside observer, it's like, what is this pathetic pastime these people are involved in? But there are people who have come up afterwards and said, I always look forward to this part of the weekend. So I'm trapped. I've got to keep going with the VW Tapper Cover Racing.
Great.
I don't have a choice. I think I would be politely lynched if I would decide that we have something different. So.
But the best part is the kids can actually get involved with that type of racing.
Yes, that's Warwick. It's the young kids, and the races coming through now are the children that have been here. Yep. So the Hanson family in particular, they've been coming here for 7 years. Now everyone races. They've all got their licence, and now everyone's on the track and wanting to go faster. So that's the encouragement. And Tapper Cover Racing, sure, if that's where they start, then that's a good thing.
So VW Magazine Australia, you basically run that yourself. You do pretty much everything.
Yes, it's a national magazine for Volkswagens, and it's the reason we have Warwick. It supports the series both in Sydney and Warwick. I do have sponsors, Mick Motors and Westside Mufflers and Rod Penrose Performance, Volkswagen Genuine Parts, to name just a few of the major ones. But the magazine is still the driving force, and I tell people, I remind people trying to be not the salesman, but if the magazine's not here, then the racing's not here.
Yeah.
So the two of them go hand in hand.
Sure, sure. I mean, obviously, you have to do all the hard work, you have to put all the hard yards in, plus you're trying to run a magazine, you're trying to cover the event for the magazine, plus obviously this year trying to put a DVD together. Mate, you're a man of many talents, I'll tell you, and you're really going the long haul for getting it out there and getting some coverage for these guys. So I really hope they get behind you and support you and actually look after you as far as actually buying the bag.
I mean, 83 races again this year. The series still has a place on the calendar, and these guys know that. If they don't turn up to race, then I don't really have a reason to run it. I mean, I enjoy drag racing, but then you don't want to keep digging into your own pocket just for the sake of one car coming out to enjoy drag racing. So while we have these races here, and while people are enjoying the sport, I'll put the effort in.
Well, everyone I spoke to was having a blast. I mean, winning or losing or whatever, they all had fun.
Yes,
and that was the common denominator with everybody. It was fun. And that was what it was all about. It wasn't about winning. I mean, sure, everyone likes to win, but they just had a blast.
And that's what the event caters for. It caters for the serious drag racer, and you need that. That's your draw card. They're the people that want to spend money on them. That's the Dave Stokers, the Mike Waldrons, the Mike Christians, the Rod Penroses. Yes. But this event, you can bring your Cabriolet Beetle. I won't say whether it's under warranty or not, but you can bring that along and you can do your 14-second pass, because that's the event. Yep. Everyone is welcome, from the novice through to the top performer, and that makes the whole weekend enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah.
Not just having to sit and watch a top fueler. They're great entertainment, and you know, I enjoy them as well, but I like to get into the seat and have a run in something which is, you know, a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great track. It's just a relaxed venue. There isn't all the pressures that you get at some of the bigger tracks.
You can stay in your tent and watch the racing.
Yeah.
You can camp and watch the racing. And
I mean,
where else do you get? You don't get that anywhere else.
That's exactly right.
And it's a country rural town feel as well.
Yeah.
So that makes the whole event. You can come back down that return track and they're all still there having their lunch while watching the racing, and so yeah, it's unique.
Yeah, we talked to some of the guys that were actually running the track. I mean, they were just nice blokes. Obviously, don't get paid for running the track. They're out here on their own time.
Volunteers.
So we've got to say thank you to those guys.
Yes.
I mean, what a fantastic job they've done. You know, they kept everybody safe. Everything's been run very, very well.
They do. I deal with the core group. There is I mean, the whole thing is run by a club. But the core group, Chris and John Loy, John's wife Jenny Loy, Peter Slade, and Joe Sinclair. I work with those people quite tight, and they do a marvellous job. But again, remember, it's supported by a whole club. So without forgetting somebody, it means we couldn't go racing if we didn't have, as you would have seen out here today, there would have been a dozen people running around making sure that everybody was getting through their races and everyone was in the right lanes.
Yeah, I think everything was going smooth, everything just moved along.
Yeah, an incredible effort.
Yes, no, fantastic. So yeah, we'll let you get back to it because I know you've still got much more to do, even though the event is actually finished.
I've got a 2-week deadline now to print the magazine, which has full coverage, and in the magazine, every driver that competes has their photo of their car with their time included. So it's a bit of effort, but I find it's a thank you for actually making the effort to come out. And then there's a whole heap of things that the magazine will do. But yes, I've got 2 weeks of madness now. My fault. I'm not looking for sympathy, by the way. And then preparations will undoubtedly begin straight away for Sydney, which has become something I was surprised by. I didn't think the quarter mile would be as exciting as the 8th mile with the discrepancies between speeds and cars.
Yep.
I was wrong.
Okay.
And I was happy to be proved wrong.
So give Sydney a plug. Like what are the dates for?
Sydney will be on February 23rd. That's a Saturday next year. It's a one-day event, but it goes into the evening. There's the drag racing, obviously, but we have a twilight cruise. Now that's where they open the track up, and we have any VW that comes along can go up and down the track for a couple of circuits with a bit of music piped in the background to get a feel of what we actually do out there, rather than having to race. And that was extraordinarily popular. I was quite taken aback by the amount of cars we had there.
Fantastic.
Then we go through into the night. There's RC racing. We don't do tap-and cover racing, we do RC racing.
Splendid.
Now, it didn't quite happen last year.
Don't tell my son
that. We've got a few little modifications to make to get that to work correctly, but it's still on the program. So yeah, February 23rd, that's the quarter mile, which means the series has a nice balance. Quarter mile Sydney and 2-day event, 8th mile Warwick.
So the track at Sydney, whereabouts is that based?
That's Sydney International Dragway, I believe it's now called.
Yep.
There was a name change, and that's based out towards Penrith, western suburbs.
Okay.
And it's an international track.
So they'd have a website if people want to get on there and just find out about the event?
They do. You put me on the spot. I won't be able to give you that website, but if you just
you'll have the info on the magazine's website?
Yes, I have it'll be on my website, it'll be in the magazine, and there are flyers at different shows. So there's enough publicity out there that you'll be able to get information regarding not only the track, but the whole event program. That will be up by, I'll have that running by November 1st, I think. The website will be updated, my website.
Yep, which is?
www.vwma.net.au, and that will then have everything inclusive. The entries won't be up yet, but the information will be.
Excellent, excellent. And just while I've still got you, Warwick next year?
Yeah, Warwick will always fall on the long weekend. Now, I know Queensland now has made their long weekend the same as New South Wales. That's the Labor Day long weekend, which is always the first Monday in October. So it shifts around a little bit. So I think next year again is the 29th and 30th September. I haven't got my calendar in front of me. But it's always find the Labor Day or Queensland long weekend, and that's our weekend, which hasn't become exclusive anymore. This weekend we had the National Sheepdog Trials, we had the Pony Club Trials. Everyone seems to be converging on the long weekend now.
Yeah.
So it makes Warwick, if there's any country town people out there listening, they're trying to build up their little country town economy and give it a bit of a boost.
Sure.
Build a drag track.
Yes.
Honestly, build a drag track. Where a drag track is, they will come.
And Warwick is a perfect example of this precinct, with the circuit, the drags, the pony, the equestrian centre. Whoever masterminded this needs to be congratulated, because it just keeps the town pumping. Every weekend there's something happening.
And it is a great town too. It's a nice place to come and visit.
It's lovely, lovely
There's
town.
some great hotels, motels you can stay at.
Good food, a Chinese restaurant we went into the other night, superb. So yes, Warwick's got it all going for it, and then they provide the recreation as well.
Awesome. Okay, Craig, well, thank you very much for having the time to do it, and thanks for putting on this event. It's absolutely fantastic.
You're welcome.
You know, we know it takes so much of your time, but what a great job you've done.
And I appreciate the effort that you and Shane have put into the video, along with Brian White, because that DVD will be our first professional DVD for this weekend. But it's well worth putting together, because it's something that I've always wanted to have. People love a memento, and that'll be available for download as well as hard copy by the 1st of November from the website, my website again. So.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we didn't cock it up for you then.
No, you won't. Only my interview.
All right, mate. Well, thanks very much again. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your help.
See you next year.
Okay, well, I'm Steve Boyce and I'll be signing off. Thanks for putting up with me over the last couple of days, and yeah, we'll hopefully be here next year, so we'll talk to you then, and say thanks to my cameraman Shane, and you've all done a fantastic job, and we'll talk to you then. Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.